The man is The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
All right. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
You sit on the wind-worn wooden planks of the bench. Your feet ache. Time passes. You ponder upon an endless winter that covers everything in ice and snow. Regular law official. You've done it, Harry. Whatever else you are, you're also boring now. It was not easy. You spent most of your life trying to funk up every nook and cranny of your personality. When someone says something political, the first three thoughts in your head are a ludicrous hodgepodge of communism, fascism, and stock tips. When they ask you why you did something, it's superstardom, apocalypse, or the mea culpas of the flagellant cop monk. It's not easy reaching for the fourth option, the normal one. But you have. And now, you're not just crazy. You're also boring. It's getting late, and it's... On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small... The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest. The place feels almost like home now, quiet and dignified around you. A new life by the seaside. You're incredibly tired. The darkness and warmth come fast. You're falling asleep.
It's easier this time. Drifting off, your head has found a comfortable indent in the pillow. Your legs and your torso feel like lead weights sinking to the bottom of the sea, until they're suddenly light.
This respite, you've earned it, brother. Bask in the darkness. Let it swallow you up and swivel you around while you forget everything you've managed to remember. No, you haven't. You've just been. No, this is the one before that. We'll just keep cycling it for you if you don't mind. As long as we can. Spin it like black yarn.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
You're welcome, Harry boy. You earned it.
After centuries of darkness, the alarm rings. But what's this? You actually feel rested. There's no time to cuddle with your pillow, however, or as much as shiver from the cold. The world awaits.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Yes. It took some convincing, but I got the mercenary's name and a few biographical details. Are you ready?
The lieutenant leans in to listen, notebook in hand.
That suit of armor was issued to an Oranese citizen named Elis Kortenaer. That's E-L-L-I-S Kortenaer. Exact date of birth, unknown. He was signed into the Lelystad County Neonatal Care Unit on 28th of February, 09. He was found as a newborn in a leaf compactor near an abandoned farm. He spent 4 months in the neonatal unit, survived apparently, and was assigned to a foster family at 2.
According to Klasia, Lele said his real name wasn't really his. Perhaps that's because he was fostered.
This is what the ICP knows about him. He was raised by foster parents, entered the Eastbrand Military Academy in Vredefort at 17, then served in the Oranese forces till he was honorably discharged in 41, just a year before the Seminese conflict. Then the armor followed him to Seminine, or at least I assume it did. And that's it. There are no records of his employment in Crenel, or any of its other incarnations, or him even entering Revachol. It's a garden tool used to press leaves into these cubes. It's a detail the hospital had, the only detail in these files. So I thought it would be good for you to know.
It is. Thank you, Alice.
None, officer. Sorry.
Even that is a small miracle. These organizations usually double-check their inventory. Thank you, Alice. Great work.
No problem, Lieutenant.
A compliment from Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Not bad.
A name. This is very good. Elise Cortenard.
This means something to him. To know that name. Like naming a case. It's important. Sometimes police work is about human dignity. About giving back names to anonymous victims.
I'm glad the inquiry was helpful to your investigation, officer. Did you have any other questions? 57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian. Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever they are. This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
Indeed. Something about that book does seem to have spoken to you. Well, I hope it contains what
Several maps the maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda. Shelves full of biographies of fate. Shelves filled to the brim with crime. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seen.
lousy aura. I've heard they turn
An endless There's also a lot of books in a board game section. Who wants to read books? There's a box that says, Wirral, third nonsense for anemic. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian.
Hi, Ace Detective.
Hello again, esteemed officer. Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to just... Yes, the Simonese are very crafty, and their wards are extremely powerful. Lesser wards simply won't do here.
The woman looks aloof. Her feet.
Yes?
Medicinal purposes of the pearl. The cover of this heavy tome features a number of esoteric symbols. Flipping through the book, you find a number of sections on the general benefits of the pearl. A large pharmacopoeia makes up nearly half of the book. You come across the following explanation. While modern pharmacopoeia are continually updated by so-called experts based on the results of clinical trials, readers will find assembled here the timeless wisdom relied upon by generations of traditional Seolite medicine practitioners, Mesk mystics, and Ilmaran folk doctors. Finally, something to calm the angry spirits that have been plaguing you. It seems to contain descriptions of the medicinal properties of various ingredients that may be gathered from the pearl, as well as instructions for producing a variety of herbal remedies. There are a number of Seolite tonics that promise to improve your short-term memory, but nothing that speaks to your condition. What you're describing is booze. You don't need any herbs for that. There's nothing in here that speaks to hangovers directly. However, while browsing through the various descriptions, you become convinced that you could assemble something from the ingredients listed here. Want to give it a shot? First, you need to choose a base ingredient. Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle. Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add? The combination of mint and birch bark make this tea relaxing and good for the digestion. It won't do much for your hangover though. Would you like to try again? Very well. Next, you'll need to... Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add? The tincture you've invented sounds intriguing, but its medicinal value is suspect to... Whoever wrote this never heard of the hair of the dog. Fuck this book. See if there's a bar open that'll still... Would you like to try? Very well. First, choose a... Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient. Lastly, you've created a delicious tincture of whiskey and ginger. According to the pharmacopoeia, it should increase your energy and focus, though, in your experience, if only you could find one of these right now and drink the shit. Would you like to try again? Very well. Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle. Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add? You've created a delicious tincture. If only would you like to try it? You close the book and find yourself staring at the phone.
Everything's still cool here, officer. I only accept legal tender, officer. Unless that's code for something.
It is not code. He really means his individual net worth. It is not legal tender.
In that case, I cannot accept that as payment, officer. The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100. You keep coming back.
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph.
Hello.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest. They're not all blue.
Which ones?
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb. Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Hjelmdal burning. Smells like worn cotton and a little old sweat. Worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photon emissions in the fabric of things you're not going to buy.
You're not imagining it. Photon emissions? What is he talking about?
Hell yeah, man. I don't usually carry printed teas, but this one was just pure exemplar. A fan? No, I wouldn't go that far. But I do think the Hjelmdalaman saga is an integral part of our shared reality. Most people don't think that the man from Hjelmdal really existed, but they're wrong. I mean, even if the man from Hjelmdal didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has.
Okay.
You sound skeptical. It's not that complicated. All that's required is a more robust understanding of cause and effect. Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Hjelmdal, and watched northern lights travel across the sky. Very unique, energetic tides there.
His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual neural activity. Interesting. Very, very unique energies indeed. Geomagnetic ley lines, one might even say.
2 real.
That's dirt cheap.
But why? I deal in goods, not services. Welcome to Hjelmdal, officer.
We're close. True, hard, full, core. Hardcore. Hardcore to the mega. Internally coherent. All core. All right. Yeah.
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music in the very real air of the church.
Hardcore! Ah!
The question is, what is the question? But there was a question? We're close!
True, hard, full, core!
Hardcore! Hardcore to the mega! Internally coherent!
All core! All right! Yeah!
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music in the very real air of the church.
Hardcore! Ah! Is it though? But is it? I mean, really? No, but seriously, I'm a bit worried it isn't.
Don't be alarmed. Everything is okay. He isn't actually worried. Everything is still super hardcore. What he probably means is, it could be even more so.
All right! Glorian Church, the place to be! Make some noise, my church people!
Vibrations thump through your blue soul. The music sounds much better in the church. He stands on stage behind a table, nodding along to the music and waving his hand in the air. In front of him, the audio mixer, one reel spinning. The other reel deck is empty. Cables run hither and thither. On one side, you see an auxiliary line in with the number 4.5 written next to it.
To the mega! Yeah! I can route it through auxiliary! What kind of a cable does she use? 3.5 or 4.5? Oh, she uses 3.5. Yeah. The auxiliary lining is 4.5 millimeter. These two don't mix.
Oh no, we're going to be in this church forever.
Don't worry, I have an adapter for it right here. Hang on, this is a 4.5. We're all good, people!
Whoa, thank God. Adapters noticeably degrade the sound quality.
Great! Someone got through to him. Okay, let's get it all set up. Can we turn the music off, please?
Everybody! Everybody! Don't panic! I'm going to turn off the Arno for just a sec. For a special scheduled event. The Arno will be back, but we're doing something else for one moment. Alright, go tell her that Egghead is ready to rave to her tunes. And then I'll turn off the music. Yeah! Back on the case! No disgrace! Bring it down to party place! The first page of the second chapter!
Could it be? Maybe for him, you only have a chapter or two left in you. Last of the penultimate, more like.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm still in love with the hardcore. Sometimes I just feel like anodic music is in its infancy, you know? For example, take this Arno van Eyck jam I've been pumping for the last months, and will continue pumping for the rest of 51. Isn't something holding it back from being hyper? It's like it's only ultra.
I think it's super hardcore, but you're right. It's not hyper hardcore.
A young man looks at you reverently, as if observing the judgment inside your head. Growing, taking form. His friend drops his loitering act and turns toward you two. He, too, waits for your judgment. If anything, it sounds a bit proto, like it's not fully formed yet. You might be a moribund alcoholic and a failed cop, but you are pretty certain a thing cannot be both proto and hardcore.
Wow! Culture cop!
For a moment, you almost think he's going to put his hand down, but that would be ludicrous.
I think you might be right, but how could it become hardcore then? I know it in my heart, but cannot think it in my head. If this is not hardcore, how could anything be? No! This is the answer! What? Guys, there's something happening in his head.
As your mind works, the beat recedes from your ears. You hear your own blood pulsing through your head, nourishing your thoughts with oxygen. The rhythm is familiar.
Oh yeah! He's doing it!
The abstract shapes swelling in the foreground have done so in vain. This is a core matter, the answer, in the double kick that moves the milliliters through your mind. The dark thud is the source of all rhythm, the inspiration behind mathematics, the hardcore.
I know! So does mine!
But there's something else that hasn't failed you.
Uh-huh. Oh. Yeah. No nation, but transnation. No war, but class war.
He's not a communist. It's just something he likes to yell. He picked it up from a tape jockey at the Elysium. She was a communist, though.
Yeah! With the rebel yell!
Don't be a lunatic. Of course he isn't. Jermaine here just yells random things. Odds are, sooner or later one of them will come off as fault reading.
Yeah! Revolution imperative!
Unless you were thinking Revolution imperative right now. Anyway, I've had a similar thing happen with eggs yelling. I know what you mean.
Hardcore superstar! Yeah! Dark hardcore! Jermaine Egghead!
Basically, yes it is.
Lungs are for love! Love! In a woman's lungs! Lonely as I am, I'm not afraid. This strange, damaged feeling grows on and on. 'cause I've never loved someone like you before.
A dopamine surge accompanies the words. It feels like electricity flowing down your scalp, dissipating into your neck. Feels good, like a spark of life in that moribund sponge you call your body.
Good morning! Yeah! Hardcore!
You know it in your lungs where the pressure should vibrate, in your heart that's alone, and in your solar plexus where the hits should land. So does every chordate animal.
What? Wow, okay. We should start with the melody. But where would we get that stuff from? I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Nordic music. I'm just the party boy. I get the people going and say it's hardcore.
He feels ashamed he can't be of more service to the future of dance music. The young man falls silent with appreciation. He even tries to contain his smile, as if it could hinder your investigation.
Basically, what you need to find here is a tape with some banging music on it, so that Egghead could use it to remix Van Eyck's jam.
Yeah, maybe that street hawker across the pawn shop has got some tapes to sell. That's just an idea.
There is a hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gislain, right next to the canal. A reel of magnetic tape is caught in its branches, like bronze ribbons blowing in the wind.
Does it? Oh, I know! I know this! I can tell you where it is!
St. G is the boulevard before the canal bridge. The one that takes you to the whirling in rags in the industrial harbour. It's got the lanterns and the...
I knew that! I could have said that!
And the mosaic sidewalk.
But it's all blocked with that stupid traffic jam right now. Anyway,
that's all yours to figure out, Copman.
Copman! Good morning! Yeah! Harder! Tape! Yeah! Spins the tape until the space escape! Yeah! Yeah!
Yes, what is it? Okay, but think you can ask him to turn the volume down a bit? Just in case.
Maximum! Maximum is the only way!
I know it is, but could you please turn it down just this instance? Just this one time? Maximum is not the only way, okay?
Pump it to the brick! Pump it to the hard master! There's no other way! Glue style!
Glue style? Okay, there literally is no other way. The mixing desk is glued to maximum.
See? He pumps it to the hard master. It's hopeless. Of course it is.
Yeah!
Never mind then. Let's get on with our project. I'm going to unmute the speakers on a count of 5. Everyone ready?
Egghead pumps his hand up in the air, waiting for the beat to drop.
Born ready. Ready.
I'm ready if you two are detectives.
The lieutenant nods stoically. Not so stoically, his hand moves to the gun holster. Suddenly, your palms are sweaty. The church seems cold and large, somehow. There's tightness in your chest. Anxiety.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mute disengaged.
No wind outside, no waves, no floorboards creaking. Total, continuous silence. This is unnatural. The woman looks around. In the silence, you see dust move on the floorboards. The driver of the speaker vibrates in the air and then stops. Plasterwork begins to crumble down the walls. In the silence, a low hum starts creeping up your spine. It's a song inside you, not in the speakers, not in the room. A great bass sigh in the basement of your mind. Slowly, it builds until the air around you starts to vibrate. It's out there now, in the world, made manifest. It will devour everything, the floorboards, the glass, the streets and the people. Nothing will remain.
Guys, what's going on? It's getting louder.
In the basins, the water looks like it's boiling.
Hosiana! Mother of Mega!
In his mind, a tidal wave approaching from afar, swallowing entire coastlines on its way. Salvation. He's peaking, the worst high he's ever been on.
The beauty and the beat! The future of dance! Planetary!
No, Egg! It's the window!
In the corner of your eye, the lieutenant steps aside, cautiously, his eyes searching for a possible evacuation route.
The window is going to come down. No, the roof!
Cracks appear on the stained glass window. Cracks run up the wooden pillars in the dark.
Come down to us! Love!
Below it, all the bass grows, like the jaws of a giant compressor gnawing on metal and wood. It does not sound benevolent at all.
That's it. I'm muting it. Shit! It doesn't stop. A seal? Have you?
Yes, I've turned it off. Andre, pull the compressor! The place is gonna come down!
Fuck! I can't shut it up. The signal's passed. It's not in here. It's...
This is it. A great roar. The vault of the roof twists above you. Glass shatters somewhere near the door. It's coming down. And then it stops. Totally and utterly. As if there never was a sound. Only your ears still ring from the shock. Everybody is staring at Egghead, holding a dangling cable in his hand. A black 3-pin connector.
Egg.
I pulled the plug. It was getting too hardcore.
You did good, Egg. Most of the place seems to be intact. Fucking hell. Programmer lady, tell me you were recording that.
4 years.
22 people. Millions of reals. All that time? This is what we were up against. Just erased it. Suliswolf isn't gonna believe this.
Yeah, but did you record it though? It was dope. I think we can use it.
Yes, Andre. I recorded it. Damn, I need to send some letters now. Thank you all for doing this. Eggman, you too. And you, officer. I don't know what we've discovered, but I know what it sounds like now. That's a start.
It was very hard not to. I think you're right. There is something going on here. And you need to be very careful with it.
I promise, officer. We will not play it again. It was mathematical information from the anomaly, presented as a waveform. That's what it was technically. Theoretically, I have no idea. I've never even heard of anything like this.
A voice seems muffled in the silent church. It's your ears adjusting after the exposure.
Yes, our lead designer. And maybe some of the producers too. And some of the writers. If they're sober enough to open a transmission. They need to hear.
That it wasn't her fault. Or theirs.
They need to hear about this. Don't worry, I won't send the recording. Although I doubt they have the speakers to produce the frequency anyway. Stay here! I'm going to stay here with these lunatics. Send letters, maybe meet Suliswolf. Also devise further measurements.
I want you to know that's totally chill with us.
I don't care, but thank you anyway.
That's the best she can manage for Andre. It's quite a lot in truth. For her, at least.
Now, I have a theory to come up with. Some kind of preliminary explanation to all this. Or the letter will sound like I've lost my mind.
Yes, and we have to get back to stabilizing Martinez. Instead of demolishing it with loud bass noise of unknown origins.
Some tiny hard thing lets go in your stomach. You're still alive. You have an explanation for all this. Somewhere deep in you, you know. The person you were knows.
Yes, what is it?
You don't have to. You already have. A long time ago. These thoughts formed in you somewhere, in a long-forgotten discussion, behind a kitchen table, in the evening light. Drinking coffee and smoking, with a friend, and a woman. She was there too. Her hair smelled of shampoo and she was smoking.
What? But Pale isn't here. We're thousands of kilometers from the edge.
That comforts her.
Then, what is that?
It's nothing. No, it's less than nothing. No.
Then the Pale is... But the gradient, it clearly hasn't started yet. We're here, and the Pale is not. I understand. A theory of the Pale where instead of an outer ocean, it metastasizes, like a cancer or a mold, erupting in points inside the world. According to this, how long and information causing data losses in the East Insulindian front. Have you considered why it's formed in a church? And also when or how it might start growing, or if it has other effects in addition to sound and data?
An intellectual hunger fills her now, casting fear aside.
I also have a question, since we are piling them on. How do you know this? I'm not doubting you. I'm simply curious as to how a detective of the RCM
knows how to think this.
Of course! A pinewood sarcophagus, or a containment facility of some kind, built by the first settlers. I have considered the same. The bad news is, there were 7 pinewood churches built in the first decade of provincial settlement. Most of them were burnt down during the revolution, or repurposed before, during the suzerain. I'm not saying all of them have one in them, but...
Some of them might. A black grain hanging in the air.
You think the presence of that puncture has somehow influenced the outcome of events here? Even say software development?
She already made up her mind when she heard it. Some kind of great and uncaring force had to play a part. It wasn't only them.
I told the producers we need to go and move to a normal office building with amenities. But no, the artists like the milieu, the writers like the history. I told them. You mean Plaisance and the Dice Maker? There was almost no one left when we packed up. Then go tell them.
An amateur anthropomedic police officer. I'd like to say I've heard stranger things, but I'm not sure. This is a hell of a guess, however. Well worded, I might add.
Yes, it is very interesting. But I wouldn't say you know. This is a guess. One that's going to have to be proved by anthroponetic scientists.
She falls silent. The wind blows in through the hole in the stained glass window, cold and moist.
I'm going to leave that out. But the rest, some of this I can use to start to explain this to the rest of the team. Maybe I'll sound mad, but...
Man, you will certainly sound mad.
One more thing. Maybe a club for anodic music isn't the worst thing you can erect around this particular point in space.
Yeah! Once the light is on in the universe, it will never go out!
Thank you, Wake. Let's leave it at that, shall we? We have an anthroponetic detection to perform in this district.
The creepy woman! We were wondering about that when we worked there, but I had completely forgotten about it ever since. It must be anthroponetic crosstalk, the one you get in radios and long-distance calls. Now it makes sense, with the Pale right on the doorstep.
Incredible. This would also explain why we get it on the police radio all the time.
It's quite common, actually. When the signal gets routed through Pale, all kinds of irregularities take place. You may hear snippets of someone else's conversation, or the voice of your former lover, or an echo of an event that took place 100 years ago. Pale is a shroud of memories, and it doesn't really distinguish to whom those memories belong to. You could hear anything. Anytime.
The mother of humanism. The hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gilles Lane. Bronze-colored ribbons of magnetic tape are caught in its branches, fluttering in the breeze. Patting the tree reveals a small sticker which has almost been worn to oblivion. It reads, RCM Emergencies Desk, number 8102, underneath a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant. You tree-hugging pansy. The gnarled hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gilles Lane. A wintry breeze blows. The gnarled hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gilles Lane. A wintry breeze blows by. With slow and deliberate motions, pulling, bending, and unraveling, you manage to extricate the magnetic tape from the branches. It curls up into a mess inside your pocket. If only you could find a way to re-spool it, so that you could hear what's on the tape. Maybe Roy from the pawn shop can help you with...
What's the tape for? How? It's broken and unspooled. Do you think your new buddy knows how to fix it? You could also get it fixed at the pawn shop across the street. We shouldn't waste our time.
Good idea. He might have the tools. The tape projector in the pawn shop uses similar tape.
Hello, hello. You mean re-spool it? Yeah, I do, but I'm not some Mr. Fix-It. I'm a pawnbroker. If you want to pawn the tape, sure. Although it looks pretty worthless.
Just explain why you need this so much. He's bound to understand.
No, it's different. Those film tapes actually mean something to me. But this is just a worthless bundle of old tape. Huh? What do you mean? Yes, what about it? Is it any good? The music, I mean. Man, you're really invested in this. Okay, I'll help you out. It's going to take a moment, though, so just sit back and relax.
You take some time to look around the store. The play of visuals all around the pawn shop is mesmerizing. Suddenly, Roy turns back to you with a reel of tape in his hand and coughs.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'll do what I can for True Passion Project. Just try not to use this tape for negative photon emissions. Take responsibility, okay?
And scary. Very hardcore. Too hardcore, in fact. I couldn't control it. It sucks up all the air in the mix until it's the only thing left. Starts compressing itself and everything around it. Completely fills up the headspace. Extreme.
Inside your chest, the heart beats still with the after effects of the sound. Imagine if you could harness that power, making it pulse.
Yeah! Welcome to the groaning! Oh! I don't know. Maybe someone can do something with this. I imagine this is the sounds that the future could make. Can't escape the sound! Can't escape the future! Good morning! Yeah! Hardcore! Yeah! Remix time! Tape goes here, into deck B.
A hand on his ear. He listens to the audio through his headphones and shouts.
Wow! Did you get this from Arno himself?
A great excitement is bubbling to the surface within him. This is big.
Listen, I'm just going to show it to you. Ready? If only we had the beat for the full assault, it would be unbelievably hyper.
What is this? It's good. How did you guys do that?
Yes, but what if Van Eyck based his remix on some forgotten local melody, like a folk song, and you just found the original piece that inspired him to create this jam? That would explain why it fits so well.
Nah, to me it sounds like classic Van Eyck. I don't think he needs any inspiration from folk songs. Maybe he lives in Martinez and just threw away part of his song because he thought it wasn't good enough.
I think it's just happenstance. Chaos in action. Contingencies of our limited existence. That and Egghead's fantastic talent.
Noid's right. Egghead's technical talent is the key. No, this is definitely part of the same song. Something cut from it. It fits too well. Something mysterious is going on here.
Be how it may, if it fits, it fits! Bring up the volume!
What about the bass? Do you have any ideas for that?
Yeah, I remember. You said it needs more bass.
I think you might know the answer.
But how?
What about that compressor Andre was setting up to achieve some sort of parallel processing?
Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't figure it out. I think the jam's already pretty ultra.
But it could be hyper hardcore!
The gnarled hawthorn tree en route with its curved baby Roy from the...
What's the tape for? How? It's broken and unspooled. All right. You know, since...
Good idea. He might... The gnarled hawthorn tree en route patting the tree reveals a small sticker which has almost been worn to oblivion. It reads, RCM Emergencies Desk. Now you treat the gnarled hawthorn.
Good morning! Yeah! Harder core! Good morning! Yeah!
Yes, what it...
Oh, hey, man. It's good to see you. Goodbye, officer. see you. Goodbye, officer. Hey man, it's good to see you. Oh, hey man, it's good to see you.
You close your eyes and dream.
Oh, hey man, it's good to see you.
You close.
Oh, hey man, it's good to see you.
You close.
Oh, hey man, it's good to see you.
You close your eyes and vacate your skull, leaving your brain to wonder, where did that little fluttering light go?
Total darkness. You sink down the darkest fathoms of your own personal deep, vertebrate by vertebrate, through the unformed skulls of your mind. Here it will begin. Who fucking cares? No, not good. Orgasmic. Oh, don't worry. The music's still there. It's you who is gone. Nothing. Just the immaculate silence of your spinal fluid. Electrified.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Every vertebrae in your spine is an unformed skull ready to pop up and replace the old one. Like shark teeth. The one you're currently in has a little brain forming in it, waiting for its turn. To rule the world. I am the spinal cord.
From what I can see, it's about to bust a move.
To rule? Yes, it's all true. In the spinal cord.
From what I can see...
Foolhardy! Do you even know what's happening on the surface? Maybe 1,000 years have passed. Or maybe you started spazzing out like 2 seconds ago.
With your eyes still closed, the first thing you feel, all the way back in the pivoting darkness of your own torso, is warmth. You have become a triumph of rhythmoplastics, somewhere in a smelly wooden church on the coast of Revachol. The wounds from the war you waged on your body are healing, twist by twist, turn by turn. As you open your eyes, you should scream, hyper, hyper. It seems appropriate. You have become a flawless interlocutor mechanism, a flesh and bone approximation of the throb coming from the speaker setup of the one called Eggheads, entirely, rigidly, imbecilic, without pity or fear. Free from self-awareness, no deliberation, only and only execution.
Oh my god! No way!
With his reel-to-reel mixer blasting the anthem of a future that will never come, The young man observes your moves for a second. He throws a screwdriver and a bunch of drill chucks into the corner and explodes into dance. What he lacks in sharpness, he more than makes up for in violent enthusiasm. The young woman lifts her headphones up slightly and raises her chin, looking at you expectantly.
Asil, aren't you going to dance?
No, recording.
The lead programmer throws the other young woman a knowing glance before turning her attention back to her own work. The young man immediately bounces up and down, then assumes the same dance pattern, embellishing it with some sort of waving motion. The authority of the law is clearly unquestionable.
What's going on here? Delinquents.
The lieutenant squeezes the bridge of his nose. The light reflects off his glasses, giving him the appearance of a surgeon in the middle of a tense procedure. He's having trouble adjusting to the new reality before him.
What's happening? Good for you. Rock on, then. What?
Who's the one in charge? You are.
Are you kidding me? Get my what on?
Sheesh, okay.
Okay, you psychopath. I see what you're doing there. It's jacked up footwork, plus some... Is that Ubi folk dancing?
Nah, it's not Ubi folk. It's hardcore.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh yeah? I did 15 years in the juvenile crime unit. I can do age inappropriate. Now, check this shit out.
The lieutenant begins to heel kick the church floor with such intensity, it's reasonable to fear he'll kick a hole right through it, causing the floor to crack and the pillars to collapse, bringing the church roof down on all of you. Doesn't look like he'd give a shit either. dynamic motion of your flailing body is bordering on the extreme. You're going off the charts. You feel as if turning on the hyperdrive would be a point of no return. Feels almost melancholy. Are you sure you have the entire posse along for this?
Here we go again! Hardcore fills the air! The sound above my head!
The what now? The sound above your what?
Above my hair, man!
Okay, this is too imbecile. Excuse me.
On the coast of the Martinez Inlet, in a small weather-beaten stave church built 380 years ago by settlers from the Occident, most likely to guard against an anomaly at its center, an officer of the RCM is contorting his body into idiotically rigid shapes as he invents the future of dance music. It's the hardest anyone has ever danced.
I am la Rebachelière. I am the city. I am a fragment of the world spirit, the genius Loki of Revachol. My heart is the wind corridor. The bottom of my air is red. I have 100,000 luminous arms. Come morning, I carry industrial dust and let it settle on tree leaves. I shake the dust from those leaves and onto your coat. I've seen you. I've seen you. I've seen you with her. And I've seen you without her. I've seen you on the crescent of the hill. The modulations of my voice are noted down with thermometers and barometers. You feel me in your nostrils, on the little hairs on the back of your neck. I also reside in your lungs and vestigial organs. Everywhere there is space. You are an officer of the citizens' militia, Jante and Rebut. When you wear your coat, you wear my soul. You move through my streets freely, in motor carriages and on foot. You have access to the hidden places. You also circulate among those who are hidden. I need you. You can keep me on this earth. Be vigilant. I love you.
An officer of the RCM is lying on the floor of a small church with his eyes rolled back and his tongue lolling out. Several others are standing around him. He slowly comes to.
Had a good rest there?
Fuck yeah!
I bet you did. Those were some advanced moves, man.
That's all great, but we should really get going. We spent enough time doing aerobic exercise for today.
You might be imagining it, but it feels like Egghead turned the volume down. Such is his respect.
Man! Now, man! Now imagine if we could do that, right? But with like 1,000 people.
End of human development. Mission complete. All right.
You're absolutely beat. Muscles relaxed and feet like noodles underneath.
Goodbye, officer.
Yes?
Yo, man. What's on your mind?
Hardcore.
Yes, what is it?
sidechain the beat. Listen, you can use the compressor to select between which track it's compressing, either the auxiliary signal or the main input from the tape. Make it alternate between the signals. The compressor controls the gain based on the level of the signal on the aux sidechain input. It will allow maintaining a loud sound without peaks that fill up all the headspace.
Sidechaining it, you said?
Then he puts on his headphones and his eyes go wide, wider than they've ever gone on drugs. He starts jumping up and down with bliss in total silence, still listening to his headphones.
Hey, what did you do to Egghead Cop Man? Did you break him?
Are you ready, pussy?
Noid straightens his back, ready for the beat.
I was born ready, Egg.
The audio assault is glorious. The speed freak dances on the stage, intensely waving his hand in the air.
This is beauty! This is life!
What in the world is going on? The way melody and bass flow together, it's unnatural.
Your body is taking a beating from the low frequencies crashing over you. It's making you feel alive again.
Introducing the ultimate sound!
God damn it! This dance club idea might just work out.
DeLorean Church! The place to be! Pump it! Pump it!
This is it. This is a new era. The fabric of the world has been irrevocably altered. Who will be the innocence of hardcore melodic dance music?
Oh, the god of dance is back! I'm dancing with the god of dance! Goodbye,
Hard cop.
Yo, man.
Yes? Okay, let's talk about it. You stole the boats. Congratulations. That must have taken an enormous concerted effort, considerable ingenuity and timing. Now, I'm going to report you and you are going to go to jail. It was a joke, sadly. There's nothing I can do about your delinquency. What's done is done. Let's get back to police work.
I don't care about your insane theft, the lieutenant thinks, and looks away from the boots. Just know, if anyone asks me, I will snitch on you.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die? You mean the curse that I'm spared of because I live outside its immediate reach? I'm listening. Excuse me? A 2mm hole in reality? This can't be true.
I'm afraid it is, ma'am. Sona Lukanen-Kill, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident, made the discovery.
Sona is involved in this? So it's even worse than I thought. It's not just the commercial area that's cursed, it's the entire world.
She looks outside the window where daylight has filled the yard.
A curse is something superstitious, but a 2mm hole in reality? We all know what it means. It's pale. In any case, thank you for stopping by. It's good to have an answer, even if I can't claim to understand it fully. I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master. You manage to hoist it off the ground, but the barbell feels wobbly and dangerous. Your hands slick with sweat. Turns out, see? This place is cursed.
Weightlifting was never my favorite either. At the station gym, I mean. I prefer running. It clears your head.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master. Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game. A warm wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to. Hey, but you're still in a ghost house. What if someone heard this? What if they know you're here?
Good technique.
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat. It's just a memory from another life, when you were young and fit.
Hello again, esteemed officer. What do you mean, the actual source? Are you here to lecture me about economics again? What?
Ma'am, what he's saying is true. We found an anthroponetic anomaly in the small Pinewood church down the coast. I don't mean to be an alarmist, and more research is needed, but it's not looking good.
But that's not in any of the ancient texts. How am I supposed to protect my bookstore from that? You're right, officer. I mustn't lose faith, especially now that Annette is finally settling in at school and making friends. No, we can't just leave. Besides, didn't I have some Sailite hope catchers round here somewhere? I must find them. Everything will be all right if I can just find them. Thank you for your help in any case. You're welcome back here anytime.
Shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever they are.
A true cultural touchstone. Enjoy the read.
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large and heavy. Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside your brain. You can do it. It'll be worth it. There's something here. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready? That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first Innocence? Dolores Day. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among these, the moral intern. She was powerful and beautiful on all her icons. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps? Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't Dolores Day. Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than prescribing to a deified model of history. She is often called an anti-innocence. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again? Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum. As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocence? Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody. An innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule over the Occident or the known world in general, at least the parts that matter. I can do better. Okay, so commonly an innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win, for their deeds are inevitabilities. Did this help? Damn, Dolores. Incorrect again. While she originated many modern institutions, launched several successful expeditions, and was even critical of the innocentic system itself, and somehow keeps popping up in your mind, she is not often considered the strongest. Even though the words most associated with her rule are l'amour, la compassion, la autodiscipline, love, compassion, self-control, which could be seen as facets of strength. Would you like to try again? Please, relax. Incorrect. Vespa Messina is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. It used to take up most of the peninsula before separating into the republics of Vespa and Messina. Care to try again? Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the Inter-Isolari Real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party, during the time of the Pericarnacian. This, the world's oldest international organization, spends its time in search of either the re-emergence of the innocents or new members. There seems to be a mix-up with the sources. It's not my fault. At least it clearly wasn't Dolores Day. She wouldn't be false. She's beautiful. Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and important of these was Ernau Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stepan the Despicable of Kedra. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocence? The most important of them all. The most precious to humankind. Of course, this is my thing. The reason I exist in this world. The correct answer is Franco Negro. Zero doubt, while it was actually her. Incorrect. While Franco Negro built concrete churches and cathedrals, and while many people, especially the Mesk, consider him a father figure, due to his militarism and nationalism, João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego argues differently. Another choice, perhaps? Oh yes, militarism and nationalism. My bad. Yes, obviously. Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence. A most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from inter-esolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful. And more beautiful. And more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get a D. Not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. Not that anyone really expected better. You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
What's going on with you? Okay.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers. Browsing through, you can do it. Your educational survey is done. It seems rather unfair to try again after you already know the answers. But sure, if this makes you feel better, here we go again. Question 1. Who was the first innocent? A pop quiz is a short examination designed to test your knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. Voila. Now blast that first thanks for enough Dolores Day. Dolores. Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that as the first in question easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody. Correct. Named Franco Negro at question 3. Who was the false innocence? Incorrect. Kedra is a large nation in the mid-northern area of the Muindi Isola, north of the Occident, between the Ilmarin mountain range and the Pacific Mare Interregnum. Care to try again? Incorrect. Stepan the Despicable, regent of Kedra, was a ruler who conquered the known world during the Kedriatic conquest, instead of the despotic Ernau Pasternak. Correct. The most final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocence? The most important of them all. Incorrect. He was a violent bastard, out to torture, maim, and kill whoever stood in his way. He was also a false innocence, disqualifying him from being the greatest and most important, and most precious to humankind. Would you like to try again? Correct. Everything from and more beauty. Congratulate the C. Vaguely passable. You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores. The greatest browsing you can do. Your educational. It seems rather unfair to try again after you already know the answers. But sure. Correct. Nothing as the first in a question. Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. Correct. Franco. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Correct. The most final stretch. Correct. Everything from inter and more beauty. Congratulations on finishing the test again. The results and your C. Vaguely passable. You would have done better if you just. But endless tries aren't really fair, don't you think?
Mr. Dubois, the word in Martinez is a certain police officer is once again happily reunited with his service weapon. Congratulations, my friend. I prefer my police officers old-fashioned like that, with a gun. You can do so many things with a gun that you can't do without one. Now, what can I help you with? Ah, yes, I was informed. It seems to be a big undertaking. What are you hoping to achieve with it exactly? Interesting. This is a small fortune waiting to be claimed. Always exciting to see promising businessmen rise up through the chaff. I'm glad to see you making headway with your endeavors, Mr. Dubois. I look forward to seeing the end result. My. She's quite the looker, Harry. You can't imagine how pleased I am the two of you are reunited. Tell me, was it difficult to convince the pigs to give it up? I guess you're right, Harry. I appreciate you coming back to report on your progress. Now, what can Everard Clare do for you? Fanny. That doesn't ring any bells, Harry.
Funny. She was trying to set up a narcotics operation in the old church.
Oh, that a cell. Yes, I do seem to remember sending a pretty young thing down there to liven up the place. Get some melodic music in there. Amphetamine lab? That sounds very immoral and debauched. Frankly, a health risk. But what do I know about kids these days? The music they listen to, the drugs they do while they listen to that music?
It sounds to me like you are trying to start an amphetamine lab in the district. And you're using some delinquents you found, God knows where, to set it up and run it for you.
Found God knows where? That Asel is the daughter of Miko the kebab, a man who once killed a guy with a kebab. I think a daughter of a man who killed a man with a kebab can handle running a little nightclub, don't you? Maybe it was Bogovin. Or Jakub. I think it might have been Conrad. A nightclub? Harry, I'm an old-fashioned guy. After work, I like to listen to some rock and roll music and have a non-alcoholic lager. Nightclubs don't interest me. But here I am, talking about myself, when you have much more important things going on. Tell me, Harry, how can I help you? I'm always happy to educate and entertain you, my friend. So, what's on your mind? Very nice, Harry. Is there anything else?
The door seems to be locked, conclusively. The file cabinet stands steady as... Remember, Leo, all items are drawn.
Right to work!
Yes? What is it? That was pretty good, Harry. Wasn't it, Jean?
Whoa, how does she know your name? She probably heard it from somewhere. You have to be more careful, Karaoke Star. Names are dangerous.
Huh, that was... Yeah, that was absolute shit, if you want my opinion. Drunken shit. Haven't wanted anything to end this badly since I had cluster headaches. Horrible. Truly horrible. I beg of you, don't ever subject anyone to this torture again.
Jean, it's not right. Don't make it worse, and I really liked it. Yes, I called you by your name. What about it? Good. Everybody knows your name. Please go finish your investigation, so everyone can go home.
Again? I can't...
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence.
The Coppernado is back. What do you want?
Fuck, does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't.
old called East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doomed commercial area. This button...
This button looks new. I wouldn't be surprised if it hasn't been connected yet. Is it the dice makers?
Silent. They have failed. Silence. No, nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you. You hear the same waiting room music, but no one picks up the receiver anymore. An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown.
From here to the whirling? I can't see how.
Hello again.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the year. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Felled electrical. How ironic. All these dark rooms. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first. Indeed, somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. You felt it before when it rained in Martinez, and you felt the cold of the rain. The feeling persists. It has been in you ever since.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
Why single out this one building? The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away. Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb. Trying to talk to the wind, the city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas? The prayer of sorts. To Revachol.
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. An adventure awaits. An adventure on the windswept urban coast. Buckle up and raise your collar. This search is going to be wet and cold. The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away. Suddenly, in through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk, its winding tunnels, a whisper away.
She's down there.
Okay. Why? Right. How do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
There has to be a way to use brute force. Climbing sounds unsafe. Brute force is safe. Look around and find something to break if the ladder fails. An old pipe peeks out from beneath the rotten boards of the boardwalk. Could this be an alternative path into the fell building? Your eyes slowly begin to adjust to the darkness inside the drainage pipe. The lieutenant looks over your shoulder. The pipe is sleek with rain. As your eyes adjust, you see some trash. Crumpled up newspapers, cigarette butts. Someone has half-heartedly spray-painted skulls on the right side. And nothing. Broken glass from bottles thrown against the walls of the pipe. A syringe.
Given that this isn't a martial arts thriller, it's highly unlikely, and not without risk to our health either. However, The pipe suggests there may be an entrance to the basement around.
The lieutenant's face lights up. He doesn't usually notice these little things.
And it's right here. A maintenance door.
It's jammed shut. The subtle approach isn't going to work on this one. Oh yeah. Big boy time. This needs you to put your back into it. Behind the pipe, the maintenance door. The metal doors are heavy, and the flaking rust hurts your palms. But, together with the lieutenant, you manage to slide them open just enough to squeeze in.
Good work. Shall we?
This isn't just glass. These are old computation components. Yes, filament memories. From the time when wires were cast in glass, slides with an inlaid nervous system. The how was a closely guarded secret. Something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know.
So it is. I think it is used to form a single system, slotted in the wall. The rest of the building seems to have been picked clean. These? No. These are old filament memories. I hope you're not expecting to find that device here. You will be disappointed.
All you'll find here is pain. Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary? This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of. Outside the window, another day. The beach sand soaks up the drizzling rain, growing darker and darker.
It's a great place to hide, certainly. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages. Indeed, no one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait. Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand, grains sticking to the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder.
Yes. Looks like some latter-day radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago. Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted. We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case. Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff. You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.